Good day to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily. We continue with the topic of Polish cartoons. What characters do you personally know, and have you ever watched any of Polish cartoons? If not, this episode is specially dedicated to you because we'll go through the history. Here with us is Maciej Chmiel. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's hard to, I would say in one word what's your function. But first of all, right now you are director of the cartoon studio in Bielsko-Biała.
Call me the god.
The god. Well, the god then is with us, which is the god is always with us.
Right.
That's why the statement is always true. But back to the Polish cartoons. Previously in PRL times, so in socialism, Polish cartoons were a success. There were many amazing figures and short movies, some of them made in Bielsko-Biała, other made in Łódź or in Poznań. Such characters as Bolek, Lolek, Reksio, but Koralgol from Łódź and Koziołek Matołek. Those are names and characters and cartoons which lived in hearts of many Polish children, but also children from abroad, because they were something which in PRL was a product of export, so we were able to sell it to other places. Tell us more about what kind of studio existed and what is left of it right now.
The studio in Bielsko-Biała was originally founded in Katowice as, let's say, the studio of propaganda films, and it has existed as such for quite a long time, for a period of 3 or 5 years, until the end of the Stalinist era. Then it switched to this more known and well-produced TV series for children. We also gained recognition because of the short films which were addressed to the adults. I mean, so these are two main legs on which the animation studio from Bielsko-Biała always stood. Right now in our portfolio there are more than 1,000 films. 250, let's say, has been just digitalized thanks to the powerful source of money we have just received from Polish Ministry of Culture. And then we are ready to do so with the other films, let's say, because this is, of course, our heritage, which has to be preserved, well preserved, and digitalized. So that's one of our tasks for the next years to come.
Yeah, many doesn't know this, but for example, the archives in the main Polish television are still on tapes. They're not digitalized, and whenever you need a part of it, you just need to digitalize this part, those few minutes, which of course is a challenge. And if anything happens to the building or to the archives, like material version of it, then we lose all the tapes.
This is even more complicated thing, because we shall preserve tapes as such for eternity, in fact, because this is a very good material to preserve the data which is written on this. And the digitalizing, the process of digitalizing is just making one copy of it, which is in the digital era which we live right now, the most common source of information and content. But still, this is the work that is never done, because in fact we would have to do another copy of this digitalized copy already, and it's called the deep archives, and it shall be preserved somewhere else, not in Bielsko. So will anything happen? If anything happens, then one of the copies shall be preserved for the future.
Yes, that's as another, of course, as a way of doing it. Like, I keep my fingers crossed that you do it, at least with Bolek, Lolek, and Reksio, and so they will stay forever.
Yeah, and getting back to your question on Polish animation as such. There were 5 studios in total, which were founded still in the Polish People's Republic, and I must say that the studio in Bielsko-Biała has luckily survived the coming age of capitalism, and we are in the turning point, in fact, because we shall to restart the creative part of our studio. When I was introduced to the studio in the beginning of May, I met 20 people over there. In the days of the prosperous studio in Bielsko-Biała, there were 220 people. So that shows us the difference between then and now.
Of course, and right now also there is a huge competition when it comes to animation.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because many countries has developed animation as a part of creative industry in their countries, even if it was built just on a ground that has never seen any animation tradition, like Ireland, as Spain, and it was created just out of nothing by the decisions of their governments. So the governments of specific countries has realized that investing in creative business is very good for the economy of any given country.
Of course, let's look at Japan and their animation anime and the Ghibli studio. They definitely have a huge success.
Right.
And even though, and this is a different form of animation as well. Even though it's in Japanese, I would say language is not that popular. Of course, translation works, and they are understood and loved all over the world.
But manga has become popular in Poland too. Do you know that there are like 40 new comic books that are printed and out of the market on the market in Poland monthly? So that's really a lot.
That's really a lot.
Right.
But a Polish version of manga?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah. So I think that animation can be called the projection of power of the given state. So that was the projection of power of Polish state in the 60s and 70s, and it had a huge cultural impact. And I think that what could be restarted in Poland right now is still a strong impulse from the state just to restart the Polish animation by just letting us start the new TV series, by moving the new source of money.
Of course, and I keep my fingers crossed for it, and we'll talk more about it in the next episode.
Right.
And to all of you, if you haven't watched Reksha or Bolek, Lolek, that's a moment to do it again, and maybe you will fall in love in those characters. And wait, because I hope we will learn more about new characters which can be made in Bielsko-Biała, and fingers crossed that something new will be created there. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily.